All right, guys, I close out 2024 finally. I'm giving you guys one more compilation of some videos and photos of UFOs. So I hope you guys enjoy this and then stay tuned for more videos this weekend.
To the channel. So you guys know I always find the older photos of UFOs a little bit more fascinating than some of the stuff we get today, because it's a little bit harder to fake some of the stuff back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s than some of the stuff that we get today. So it's a little bit easier to do some of that. But one of the incidents I always found, or I guess say cases, was the McMinnville UFO incident. And I'll put a link below in the description, but basically his wife saw a UFO. She called to her husband Paul, and he grabbed his camera, and with that we were able to, in my opinion, get some of the best UFO photos taken to date. I mean, here it is right here. He caught a photo of it there, and then he caught another photo of it descending. And it's pretty interesting with this case, and I'm going to show you guys in this video a couple of more images that people saw. They actually captured them on film. They took a camera and they got out and took a photo of it that looks exactly like this, with this kind of flat bottom and kind of round on top. And then I have a whole video on the ARV and stuff coming up pretty soon. But this even had testimonies. The wife was still alive, and she did give a testimony about this. She talked about what she saw and all that, and it was really quick, but they didn't try to make any money on this, which was pretty interesting. I think I probably would have made $1 or $2 myself if I saw one, but there were newspaper articles on this. There were several, actually. It was really popular for a while, so I'm surprised that this isn't coming back up in some of these government and these hearings that we're currently having today. They should bring some of this stuff up and show it to them and say, well, what is this? Instead of bringing up kind of what they're bringing out. But this was even featured in Time magazine. So this was a real incident that happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of photos right now of people that have saw something that I think is similar to what they saw. Here's going to be one where I think this guy's name was Matt. I don't know all the details behind it, but he heard something outside and he went outside and he took these two photos. He took this photo you see here, and then when he actually went around, he took another photo, and this is the last photo he took as a craft, kind of, as he said, descended and shot off. Now this would have a little bit more information on. This was taken in January of 1992 in Colorado. Someone was driving, this guy named Joe, and he saw this craft and he pulled over and he took a photo. So this is the first photo you see, and then he was able to take another photo with this craft actually descending off. And it's pretty interesting how these were flying low enough for him to take these photos. And here's going to be the second photo he took here. And then there's going to be one other one. This was kind of a rare photo. I believe it was taken with one of the rare pair. I think it was in Germany of March of 1993, if I recall. And it was a guy named Jeff that took this photo here. And he was only able to take this one photo before the craft actually shot off. But this looks pretty familiar to a lot of the other photos, in my opinion, that I just showed you, with the flat bottom and kind of a round top to it. So y'all, this is just one instance. I have several more photos that I could actually add to this and make this a longer video, but I want to at least show you some of the clearer ones and put down in the comments what you think about it. These look to be pretty similar to what they saw, and these were taken between maybe mid 50s to the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. But anyway, put down in the comments what you think about it. And if you want to see more stuff like this, let me know, because I have several photos and several videos of more things that actually back up what the Trent saw back in, I think it was 1952, when they took these two photos of this. And also stay tuned to the channel, because I'm working on several things. I just got to try to allocate some time to do it. But I am working on a more in-depth Turkish UFO video where I'm going to analyze this a little bit more to show you guys some of the stuff that I think that may have been missed in other videos. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll show that to you guys and talk about it. Just basically be my opinion, some things I think people miss, and then possibly show you maybe some footage you've never seen before too. With that, then I have a lot more stuff coming up too on the channel. I got a lot more videos and photos of things you guys haven't seen, and I plan on trying to get all those together and get those done maybe within the next couple of weeks to about a month or so. And then I still owe you guys the ARV video where I compare the ARV to the sport model and stuff. But I have a lot of stuff I want to show you guys. I just have to sit down and allocate some time to do it. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it. Put your comments down below, click the like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. See you in the next video. All right, guys, welcome back. So the National UFO Reporting Center, and I'll leave a link in the description, has just released a whole bunch of UFO information. But there was one incident in particular that I wanted to share with you guys today. It's actually a reporting by two pilots by seeing a triangular shaped craft. And the reason why I'm reporting this one, or at least showing this to you guys, because they actually have photos of this that are pretty interesting. So let me get into this report. Now, like I said, I'll leave a link in the description to their site, and then also a link over to this particular report. So this incident is going to take us over to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and basically it's about 100 miles south of what they're saying there with this, but they spotted a triangular shaped object, and here's going to be the actual report here for this. So they actually have their sightings done by numbers and stuff, so you guys can see that at the very top. But it's interesting as you scroll through this and look at the information. I like that they actually give you guys this, because we can go in and we can see more information. Just like they say here, the estimate size of it was the size of a football field, or football field sizes. And we've heard about this before in the past. I've mentioned this before with people seeing these triangular shaped UFOs or objects in the sky, and they are huge. They're not small. So something the size of a football field being that large in the sky would just kind of freak me out if I saw it for the first time. But I think we're kind of getting desensitized to a lot of this stuff. So if we see it nowadays, we may be like, okay, get my camera out and let's film this. But it says direction from viewer. They give you tons of information on it here, but the story is right here, and it says a large triangular craft traveling west to east at approximately 32,000 feet, seen from above the airline traveling north-south at 36,000 feet. It says here the three white lights, one on nose if triangle, one white light on each rear corner. And like I said, we've seen this before, and I'll show you guys a picture of this, and I'll show you the pictures they have down here. And this is a single red light in the center where tail would be, and not picked up on either onboard radar or the TCSA. And it says red light turned on after approximately 30 seconds. Craft suddenly appeared to fizzle with what looked like a static discharge for approximately 10 seconds, then effectively disappeared into the darkness. It says either it left or it went total dark, which it either just zoomed away, which we know they can do that, or maybe it cloaked itself. You said it was at nighttime, so they wasn't sure which one. So here's going to be the actual photos of this particular craft. All right, y'all, looking at these photos, they are pretty interesting. I mean, you would think that you're looking at this first one, you're not sure what it is. It doesn't look like a conventional craft. You get this second one, and it would be considered a triangular shaped craft. But then you get the third one, which looks even more interesting. Look like you're looking at five lights. Now, the craft could have moved, and they could have snapped a picture when it was moving to make it seem like it was five lights. But it does appear to be more than three lights, and it doesn't really appear to be triangular shape. And I'm going to let you guys know why I think this. Now, I could be completely wrong on this, but when you start looking at this a little bit closer, it gets a lot more interesting when you start trying to, at least what I did, instead of trying to enhance the photos and make it out to be a triangular shaped craft, I just brighten the actual images up. And when you brighten them up, this is kind of what you get here. You don't see too much here, but when you start looking at the second or the third photo, you look to what could possibly be a cube, if you guys can see that. The background is, of course, a little bit lighter, and then the craft is actually dark. Look at that right there. This looks to be possibly cube shaped, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I didn't enhance this photo at all. I didn't try to do anything to make it look like a cube or anything like that. You can go to their site and download and do what you want and play with it, but let me know what you think, because this right here is kind of, I've never seen this before. And like I said, I didn't do anything to the actual image. I just went in and brightened it up, and the actual object is darker than the background, which shows you more of the shape of it. And looking at this up close, you see this here. You see what appears to be five lights there, and I just don't know what to make. I've never seen this before, and when I brightened it up, I said, what the heck? Is this really what I think it is? It looks like a huge cube shape UFO and not so much triangular shape. But put down in the comments what you guys think. This is just kind of it's kind of freaky and interesting and kind of good in a good way. It gets me kind of excited to see something new with this. So put down in the comments what you think about this. And then there's going to be something else I want to show you. There's another quick case too I want to show to you guys that they have on their site too. Now, there's one other on their site I wanted to share with you guys. They don't actually have a photo, but they actually drew what they saw. And of course, you guys can see the location and everything there for that. And you guys can see the sighting number at the very top. And there'll be links in the description to all this. But these two people, they said originally 2 lights appeared across the bridge by the mountain in said location. I guess they're talking about above, and hover straight towards us. So I'm not going to go through and read this whole thing, but they said, as you see here, it was about the size of a stealth bomber. It had a light humming noise and sucked the sound out of the river next to us, which I've never heard that happening before, where a craft is actually flying and then the sound around is like, I guess they say it's like it was being sucked out. So if you guys have heard of a technology like that or heard of a UFO reporting, put that down in the comments. But it said it hovered and watched us for what seemed to be a few minutes. Then they said it was actually 4 hours. They think they were abducted by this UFO. And then they go into just a little bit more detail. It's not really that long, which I like this site because they don't get into all these super long details and stuff of this. But they talk about it being about the craft actually being there, and it disappeared and then it reappeared at a different location, which we've seen that and heard about that before, craft being in one spot and then disappearing again. But right here is going to be some of their drawings that they actually submitted for this. It would have been great if they got a photo, but if they saw it and the time lapse was from 4 minutes to, I don't know, they're saying 4 hours, maybe something did transpire at that point in time. But this is going to be a link in the description too, so you guys can check this out and do an analyzation on their writings and stuff right here. They said start skipping across the sky. So they've got some pretty good detail, which they've written out and drawn about this, probably to the best of their abilities. I think those little guys are kind of cute there. They say, oh, it disappears, but it's still interesting regardless to get this information out here. It says here, I think this is probably the first time they saw it. It says 2 lights from the other side of the mountain. It came towards us. So basically they saw this craft and it came towards them. It looked like 2 lights, but it looked like when the craft got close to them, it looked triangular in shape. So maybe it was like the previous one we saw. I don't know. But you guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this. You can go over to this site, look at these 2 links, and then come back here and comment, because I'd like to get some discussions going on some of your thoughts about this. And possibly I'll go live at some point really soon and we can talk about this more in depth on a live broadcast. But regardless of whatever, this stuff is very interesting in my point. Because of these triangular shaped craft, and we're starting to see the same thing that they saw, like the Belgium wave and stuff like that back in the 80s and 90s and stuff. So regardless, these are fascinating photos, and they're all on their site and they're for the public to view. So if you guys can, share this video with your friends and people that are skeptical or people that can analyze this, and have them come over here and check this out and comment about this, because this just kind of blew my mind, especially this one right here. Said I didn't do anything to the photo to try to make this to seem cube or square shape. Only thing I did was brighten it up. Now there's some people out there that are photography experts that can play around with this and probably make out a good shape for this. So I'd recommend you going in and downloading this image and stuff for it and seeing what you guys can come up with and come back with and just talk about it. But regardless, whatever, it's pretty interesting. So put your comments down below what you guys think about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Please share this with your friends. Share it on forums. And I will see you guys in the next video. I appreciate you watching. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So you guys know people report stuff all the time. So in today's video, I'm going to show you photos from 3 UFO cases you guys have probably never heard about, but at least I want to show this to you guys and get your opinions. This is going to be the first case. Now there's been several UFO sightings in Texas, but this particular one occurred, and as you guys see there, it was in 2008 January. Someone has a video clip of this, but the video clip is not available. What you're seeing is one of the 2 images that have been available to the public of this UFO sighting. I cannot find the video anywhere, but this happened in January 2008 in Stephenville, Texas. And what makes this one more interesting, I've heard of people taking photos and videos of UFOs and doing screen captures or freeze framing it. And this is what they see a lot of. If you guys are familiar with the way UFOs, especially in the 80s and 90s when people were trying to take photos with these with Polaroid cameras, this is a lot of stuff that they were getting. And this blue light reminds me of something I told you guys about in some of my live broadcasts, that I've seen a UFO floating with this particular blue aura of light around it. So when I saw this, I kind of got a little bit of chills, because it did remind me of what I saw. And I just saw the craft shoot off. I just shot off in the air in a direction I don't even know, but the color of it reminds me of that. So that's why this kind of sends chills down my back when I see this particular image here. And of course, when you go in and you try to do some enhancements to it here, I can darken and lighten it. This is kind of all you see. And I didn't expect to see the shape of a craft or anything, especially with this being just a screen capture of the video, which I can't find the video anywhere. I gotta stress that. But this is what you see here when you kind of play with the images some. And then of course, when you lighten it up, it doesn't do anything but just make the streak from the UFO, the light from it, just shine brighter. So of course, this UFO was traveling at a tremendous amount of speed, and I've heard about them zigzagging like this and then shooting off in another direction or completely disappearing. Why they do that, you guys put down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on that. But this is pretty interesting. And of course, the second one is this one here. So maybe the UFO was making a circular turn and then it shot off in the direction up and to the left. I don't know, because like I said, I can't find the full video. So if you guys know anything about this, let me know. There's tons of reports of UFO sightings over in Texas, in that area, especially around this time, but there's not that many videos and there's not that many photos. And of course, when you try to zoom in on this is kind of all you're going to get. And like I said, I didn't anticipate or expect to get more than what I'm seeing here with this. Kind of playing with it, it just kind of, with the lighting of it, this is all you're going to see for it. So I didn't expect to see an actual craft, but you guys let me know in the comments what you think about this first one, because this was interesting. This is something that I hadn't heard about, and I cannot find any video footage on this one. So let me know in the comments about this first one. Now this next one is even more interesting. This looks kind of like an egg shape, and I did mention this in yesterday's video about people in a soccer field seeing an egg-shaped UFO. This person was out and they were supposed to, it was a young photographer that was going out to take a photo of the sun rising, and this is what they got. Now people were speculating about this because they were saying, oh, he took a picture of the sun rising and all that. Well, if he took a picture of the sun, and some people say it was peeking through the clouds, this is very bright. That means we have another sun out there that's showing closer to the earth than what we're normally seeing on a day-to-day basis. But what I find really interesting about this, of course, is going to be this orange texture of this UFO and several other things. With you guys kind of look at the top there, and I'll zoom in a little bit. It looks like it has 3 dark spots on the top of this craft. So we don't know how a lot of these craft function and work, and that could be a navigation system. I've heard a billion and one things about how these crafts can possibly work. But if you go in and you darken the image up, this is what you get here. And it's pretty interesting to see this. I mean, if this was the sun peeking through the clouds, you would see a lot more different colors and stuff as I went in and darkened this up. And then of course, if you try to go in and you lighten it up, this is kind of what you see here. Now, if this was the photo he had took, I could probably maybe guess this was the sun, but then again, the sun would be more in the left or right hand corner, not in the center of this photo. So this is another interesting one, and this is the only photo that was taken of this. And in the report, it's reported that the craft disappeared. It just shot off after this. But looking at this up close, this is what you see here. I think this is really interesting, and don't know if you guys have heard about this. So if you have, put it down in the comments. But this is my first time seeing a glowing egg-shaped UFO, especially with these 3 dots on the top of it. It could be 6 to 8 going around the craft, but this is the only thing we see in this one. So let me know about this second case and what you think about this one. Then we'll look at this third case. Now, plenty of you guys have heard about this incident, and there's one photo which is kind of what you're seeing here of this incident. If you guys can't see it, I have a little pointer just come up and you'll see what you see right there is going to be a UFO. Now, there's a whole story behind this, but what fascinated me about the whole story was this is the only photo that we've ever seen is going to be what you see here. And the UFO, if you kind of try to look at it closely, it is kind of translucent. Seeing that we've heard about translucent UFOs, I think it's the battle over LA where they were shooting at UFOs and they completely missed them. This could be the case of that. So you do see kind of a saucer-shaped craft with maybe a ring or something around it. But apparently this was one of the only photos that were taken of it. And then if you go in and try to play with it or try something or brighten it up or darken it up, you can see more of the shape of the UFO. Now know that this was taken in the 50s. It wasn't the 60s or 70s. And they were on a ship or boat when they took this. But what people don't know about is there's 2 more photos that were taken. And here's going to be these 2 photos here. Now, if you missed it, I'm going to point these out in just a minute so you guys can see that. But if you look closely, you'll see that craft in the background. It's very, very faint. It's very small. But this is one of the photos that they took here. And I didn't know that there were going to be other photos out. And if you kind of darken this up a little bit, you can see it. Now, remember, this was taken in the 1950s on a ship. They were traveling. They weren't expecting this. And someone caught this. There had been reports of a UFO. And luckily for us, someone did take a camera out, and we can see more photos of this incident because people were trying to say this was a hoax and stuff. But in the 50s, as we know, it's a lot harder to hoax this stuff. And here's going to be the other photo too that was taken. Of course, when you zoom in on this, you do see the same shaped craft. So the craft traveled across the sky. It looks like it went from right to left, and someone was able to take the 3 photos of this craft. And of course, when you darken it up, you can't really see it that well, but you can see that there is a saucer shaped craft in the air flying. And to know that there's more than one photo of this actually is pretty amazing to me, because I always saw that there was one photo, but now that we have 3 photos of this. And for you guys that couldn't see it, there's the first one right there. Very faint. And of course, probably when they saw it with their naked eye, they could see it better. Or it was a little bit clearer than what we're seeing here. But we have photos of this. And then here's going to be what I'm kind of terming the second photo he probably took, because you guys can still see part of the ship there on the right. And then you're going to see this last photo here. So pretty interesting stuff, guys. I had never seen these 3 photos before. So let me know in the comments if you knew about this or had seen some of this, or there's more photos or information out there about it. But I thought these were very interesting, and I wanted to show them to you all to get your thoughts and opinions on it, because as I dig more and I start getting more information, I start finding stuff that's always amazing me. It always keeps me in this subject and keeps me kind of hype and interested on seeing what else is out there, especially these Trinidad photos. I didn't know there were 3. I always thought there were 1, but now we have these 3 here, and we have this to add to the archive. So anyway, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, put your comments down below of what you guys think. Appreciate you always, and stay tuned for the next video. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So pretty short video today. I want to show you a couple of photos that you may or may not have seen before. Of course, some of these I've showed some of them before, and I believe these are going to be more ARVs or alien reproduction vehicles. And I'll do a whole video to break that down. There's a reason why I say that, just because of the structure of a lot of these photos. And these were taken between the early 1940s up until the probably mid 1950s or so. And then we also have pilot testimonies of things that probably weren't ARVs, there probably were UFOs that they saw at that particular time. And then of course we have particular incidences that people saw these. They didn't try to profit off of this, they just reported, took a couple photos, and then we see what they took in those photos. And this is why I believe that a lot of this stuff is probably ARVs or alien reproduction vehicles. They call it a couple different things, the flux liner and stuff then. And then of course every now and then we get a couple that look too good to be true and people are saying these are fake. But I'm gonna do some oversight on this pretty soon with this. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump in a couple of these photos here. So if you guys aren't familiar, this is one of the photos that I have of that particular incident in 1952. There was a couple of people that saw certain things. They saw a whole bunch of lights and possible UFOs, and this is one of the photos from what they took. And remember, this is in 1952. A little bit harder to fake some of this stuff. Of course, you guys should be pretty familiar with the Battle over Los Angeles. This is going to be one of the photos from there, and I think I have a testimony that I'll play to you guys probably late next week about this. It's pretty interesting. I want you guys to hear that and give your thoughts on it when I put that video up. Now, this is one you guys have mentioned to me before. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it as I zoom in. Some people were saying that this was a hoax, but I have a testimony about this too. So I just wanted to show this to you guys. But you guys see that UFO right there. And I'll have some more information coming up later next week with this. Now, this Morristown UFO, some people were saying that this was a triangular shaped UFO. You can kind of see it there in the picture and zooming in on this here. So if you guys know a little bit more about this, put that down in the comments. And of course, we can't forget the ever popular Phoenix lights. Now, some people, believe it or not, are not familiar with the Phoenix lights, but this happened, of course, in 1997. And there was video footage of it. There was a lot of video footage, and that's what you're seeing here. This is actual video footage from the event. And there were several, well, there were more than several, there were several hundred eyewitness accounts of this and even videos and photos of this. So what you're seeing here is video footage from that incident. Now, this next one's pretty interesting because they did have a lot of UFO activity over in that area, and someone took this photo as the craft was flying off from the right to the left. And this is probably one of the more interesting photos that I'm showing you guys here. Looks like there may be a cluster or several that are flying off, but put your comments down below if you've heard anything about this. And if so, we can do a little bit more investigation. Now, of course, we can't forget the photo that George Knapp and them presented to us from a Navy pilot. They kind of call this the Acorn UFO. So you guys see that there. It's a pretty interesting photo, but I figured I'd go ahead and throw this in here. So I have several things that I'm working on. I kind of took a little break, but I'm going to break a lot more of this stuff down. I'm trying to work on some software equipment where I can take some of the backgrounds and kind of light it up so that we can see the structure of these craft in the background. So if this software that I'm going to use works out, I think we can help identify and see some more of this, the shape stuff of the craft in the background. So put your comments down below, get the like, subscribe, stay tuned for the next video. As always, I appreciate you guys watching.